The Appalachian Trail Conservancy website says, and I quote, "Hiking the entire Appalachian Trail is a grueling and demanding endeavor." I have told in other videos how my experience suggests the AT can require serious physical exertion by a section hiker who has the goal of approaching through hiker speed for a period of days at a time. For these reasons, many backpackers seek ways to reduce pack weight to help them meet their goals on the Appalachian Trail, and that will be our topic. Some hikers are not concerned with pack weight. I would say if a hiker plans short trips on the AT, say a couple of nights, or plans to move much slower than a thru hiker, the need to carry a light pack becomes less compelling. And what do we mean when we say thru hiker speed? A thru hiker who cannot average 15 miles a day might not have the time to finish the entire AT in a single season. Probably most of us will easily understand that carrying food and water will add weight to the pack. I have seen hikers on the AT who carry food for only 3 days and other hikers who only carry 1 liter of water. That kind of approach is not for me because I don't want to waste time shopping for food. If I start an 8-day section hike, I will carry food for 8 days. Unless perhaps I know I will be walking right past a store or two. I have told earlier how I have hiked in a drought and have been worried about running out of water, so I start each day with 3 quarts. Also, for anything but a very short trip, I think it's best to carry extra clothes. Based on my experience, the most significant thing I can tell you about weight is not the weight of the overall pack, but instead the weight of the food, the water, the extra clothes, the toothbrush, the cook pot, and the other small odds and ends I have carried. When I have set out on a section hike, those items have weighed on average 21 pounds. I know this because my pack has never weighed less than 25 pounds, and these are the weights of my lightest pieces of my main backpacking gear. Let's say, on the other hand, we go into a typical outdoor store and buy the first backpacking gear we see that looks sturdy and comfortable. If we do, we very easily can end up with weights like this. If I added my 21 pounds of food, clothing, etc. to that gear, my pack would now weigh 38 pounds. In my view, this comparison is at the heart of the light versus heavy choice we make as backpackers. My pack weight is light, mainly because I selected light options for the most fundamental pieces of backpacking gear. I do not have a light pack because I am leaving out anything important. With my light pack, I can still meet these objectives. In my view, these objectives cannot be ignored, at least for myself. There also is the topic of extra stuff, and what that extra stuff might be is limited only by the boundaries of human imagination. Before I started one section hike, I laid out all of my extra stuff in a motel room, with the exception of the energy bars, which were lying there because I just came back from a store. All of this stuff was items that I had either failed to use on earlier hikes or for which I had duplicates. For example, 2 knives were sitting there because I brought 3 knives with me. I put this extra stuff in a sack that weighed 5 pounds when I checked it at home. Leaving these items in my car made my pack 5 pounds lighter. I earlier did a video called Hiking Crash Course on the Appalachian Trail, and I believe that video covers topics that are vital to this conversation. In that video, I recommended that any aspiring AT hiker start with a modest section hike. I said this because there is no substitute for experiencing the Appalachian Trail firsthand to find out how capable we are there and what suits our temperament. If anyone needs to carry a lighter pack, they are likely to learn about it on that first section hike. If anyone needs some heavy piece of gear, they would find out about that also. I also told in another video that I have found my lightweight gear to be durable if I can avoid dragging that gear over rocks, thorn bushes, and barbed wire. Any gear has the potential to fail. I once gave a ride to a thru hiker who broke a strap on her Gregory pack. As you can see, the pack has a lot of padding, and Gregory packs are not cheap. Some people would say light or ultralight gear does not have all of the features and bells and whistles and convenience of heavier gear, and I agree that many times this is true. This leads to a question: does it take extra skill to be able to succeed with light gear? I would answer by saying that no matter what kind of gear we use, we need to know how to use it effectively. Most types of gear of any weight have the potential to be used incorrectly. And no matter how heavy gear is or how light it is, we have to keep thinking effectively in order to use the gear effectively. What am I talking about, you might ask? I have been wandering into woods miles from home since I was a child, and several times I have gotten myself into a genuinely scary first-class mess on those trips. Nearly every one of those frightening experiences could have been avoided had I stopped for just a minute to analyze what I was doing and to ask myself if I might be better off doing it differently. While the Appalachian Trail is a relatively low-risk environment, in any wilderness setting, I believe we are best served by taking nothing for granted and thinking about what we are doing all of the time. The value of previous outdoor experience cannot be overestimated. It will help us meet our goals on the Appalachian Trail. In another video, I told that before I went to the AT the first time, I had backpacked and camped in enough cruddy bad weather that I was virtually 100% assured I could keep my sleeping bag dry no matter what the weather. In 2015, it's probably not going to be easy to get items as light as some of those shown here. The tarp tent on this list is an Integral Designs sill shelter, and Integral Designs stopped making it. As manufactured, it weighed 15 ounces. I know of nothing similar that is as light as the sill shelter unless it's made of expensive Cuban fiber. In another video, I told how I think Integral Designs stopped selling the sill shelter mainly because many people complained it would sag when they pitched it. But with a few seconds thought, I realized all I had to do was stake the back first and then the front last and pull the front tight, and then I would have a taut pitch with no sagging. This was at least one successful example of me keeping the thought process going as I was using my backpacking gear. Another example is the 20-ounce pack. The model I have is no longer sold. When Ultralight became popular about 15 years ago, some packs were designed to carry a maximum load of 20 pounds, and I saw people on the AT using those packs. To my knowledge, most of those designs are no longer being sold. On the other hand, based on what I see online, it is fairly easy to find a backpack that weighs about 2 pounds with at least a 40-liter capacity, which is as small as I would go. This is such a pack, and it has been on the Appalachian Trail. In another video, I told how difficult it is to find backpacking gear with weights like this in many outdoor stores. The best option I have found for gear like this is to shop online. The sill shelter and my 20-ounce pack are no longer manufactured. Any specific items I might recommend in 2015 also might go out of production in the near future. If I had to re-equip myself from scratch, I would conduct multiple Google searches to find out what is available in terms of lightweight packs and so forth. I would take notes, bookmark websites, and search online for customer reviews of specific items. It's also fairly easy to find a tarp tent that weighs 2 pounds or a bit less, and many if not most of them will come with a floor that's a separate piece. Many people prefer a standalone tent. Some because they can, for example, assemble it on concrete or wooden floors. In another video, I told how standalone tents tend to either weigh at least 3 pounds or cost about $300. It is also my outdoor experience that led me to my current system of cooking backpacking meals. And one virtue of this system I have is that, relatively speaking, it does not use much cooking fuel. This has implications for pack weight. Many commercial backpacking stoves are designed to crank out a lot of heat very efficiently, and I have never felt the need for a lot of efficient heat since I adopted my present system. This is true whether I'm on the Appalachian Trail or if I'm in snow and 20-degree weather. In another video, I told how I cook my backpacking meals in a pot with a lid using 1/2 of an Esbit tablet or 1/2 of a fluid ounce of alcohol. When the meal is steaming and starts to bubble, the fire can go out and I can eat the meal after a wait of about 8 or 9 minutes. I learned precisely what food can be cooked this way by testing everything at home in advance of taking it out backpacking. This approach also allows me to use a very basic cook set, which also helps keep weight down. I have described my cook set and cooking method in detail in 2 other videos. I have put the links to those videos in the description. And in yet another video, I described how our choice of sleeping gear can affect pack weight. The link to that video is also in the description. I have never found a camelback type water system necessary on the AT or anywhere else. I always carry a fanny pack in the outdoors, and on the AT it's a cheap $15 fanny pack that holds a water bottle. This keeps water close at hand, and I have found that adequate for my needs. When my daughter accompanied me on the Appalachian Trail, we fastened a bottle holder to a pack strap so it would be within easy reach. And now we're done. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. It would be much appreciated. And as always, thanks for watching.